Hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Friday Live class with Askawayhealth. I'm Dr. Sylvia, founder of Askawayhealth and a GP. I'm also a health educator. I love talking to people about their health, explaining medical jargon, and just breaking down some of these medical facts and issues that pertain to women's health, women's bodies, sexual health, and family medicine. So you're very much welcome. If you're coming in on the live, please say hi, leave a comment. Tell me where you're coming in from today, where you're joining me from today, what the weather is like in your part of the world. It's great to have you. We've got 2 questions that we're going to be looking at for today's live class. As you probably know, I've dedicated my Friday lives to tackling questions that you or someone like you who watches the channel sends in wanting some clarification or understanding about something to do with your health. So I've got 2 from 2 great viewers, and I'm going to share these with you in a bit, and we're going to look into them and get some useful, accurate evidence-based information about how to handle those issues. But before I do that, can I say thank you, guys? 8,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to all subscribers, whether you joined me a year and a half ago or just yesterday or this morning. Thank you. Thank you for validating what we're doing, for being interested. Thank you so much for commenting, for liking and engaging. Please continue to do so. It's really great to see our family and our community growing. And I respond to as many comments as possible as I can on the channel. So please do say something, say hello with questions. Yes, I may not be able to answer all questions because these are medical issues. YouTube isn't the space that you're going to look into a person's medical history. There are confidentiality issues. But I do have a service on askawayhealth.org, our website, that you can use to obtain tailored information as it affects you. So please consider using that if you want something quite specific. But otherwise, general information, explanation, guidance, that's what we're here for. But thank you so much to all subscribers. You guys have really made my weekend. So thank you. And if you're joining in, please say hello, pop in, say hello, ask a question. The topics today, I'm going to start sharing the screen, bear with me. But the topics today, like I said, have come from 2 of our viewers. The main one we're going to be talking about, as you know from the title, is slimming teas or laxative teas and their effects on your birth control pill, and whether it might just be a costly prank if you're taking the 2 together, or it might not. Who knows? Stay till the end of this video to find out. But please chip in your thoughts, drop your opinion or your experience in the comment section. If this is something that you're curious about, if this is something that you're worried about, or if this is something that you've experienced, let us share our knowledge. So that's the first one we're going to be, and that's the second one we're going to be looking at today. But I've got another question that we're going to sort of look at before that. Shouldn't take too much time, but I think it's interesting to look at that one. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen and then bring up the questions for us to begin. So bear with me while I get all this technology in place, and then we shall be good to go. Right, so as I said, I love bringing questions from viewers. So this is just to put us in the mood and give us some context about what we're talking about. So here's the question. Okay, I'm just going to quickly check. Yeah, there we go. So there's the question that we're going to be tackling in the first 5 minutes of this video. I had unprotected sex today. My ovulation was yesterday. So should I take the morning pill? I believe she means the morning after pill right away. And which one should I go for? And how many days should I take it? Now, I thought this was a really good question so that we can break it down. If you're not familiar, I know we talk about this all the time on the channel, but this question made me realize there are people who are not familiar with this and they've heard about it and just want to understand how it works. Perhaps they've not been able to speak to the doctors. They just want to know how it works. So let's go through each of these questions. Should I take the morning after pill right away? Which one should I go for? How many days should I take it? Let's go through it step by step. Okay, so very quickly, the morning after pill or the emergency birth control pill, and there are different types, but it's simply defined as the pill, the go-to pill that a woman can reach for if she's had unprotected sexual intercourse and is not ready for the possible consequences, which are pregnancy. So these pills prevent pregnancy from happening, and there are a few rules and recommendations that guide their use, and it's important that you know them so that it is worth your while taking them. Okay, so I'm going to go straight to answering the question, and I'm going to provide explanations as I do that. Yes. Yes, please take the emergency birth control pill or the morning after pill as soon as possible after sex. We don't give you a time limit or a time within which you can start taking the pill. We want it to be as soon as possible after sex. The only occasion a time limit comes into the question is when you're being advised about how long not to delay it for, because if you delay it beyond a particular period, they are less effective and they are unlikely to work. Ideally, before we go into details, ideally you should have a regular method if you're not yet ready to have a baby, whether that's a condom, whether that's using the female diaphragm, whether that is using a calendar method and doing the pull-out method, whether that's using a regular pill, injection, implant, coil, whichever. Okay, if you're not ready to have a child, you should consider using a regular method than relying on an emergency method, because the regular methods are much more effective than the emergency methods, and the emergency methods are reserved for only very occasional use, i.e. emergency. That's why they're called emergency. So they're not your regular, day after day or month after month, or like things like the implants and the coils that are actually left in for years. They're not that type of method. Okay. So back to the emergency pill. You should take them as soon as possible after unprotected sex. Okay, if you have to use them, the earlier the better, because they are most effective the earlier you take them. But our question mentions ovulation. And I have to say, this is on the back of one of my videos when I was talking about the best time to take the pill and just trying to get people to understand how these things actually work. Ovulation is when a mature egg is released from the ovary, and after that happens, the egg will usually survive 12 to 24 hours in your body from that point. The birth control pills, the emergency birth control pills, they're best taken before ovulation because their job is to delay the release of the egg. Okay, but to a slight extent, they can make the cervical mucus thicker or make the womb lining less friendly to implantation. I've just realized I've actually not showing on the video. So I've just popped myself back in. If you're just joining in, thank you so much for hanging around. Please say hi. Today we're talking about things to do with birth control. I'm just tackling one little aspect of how to use it step by step for somebody who is just not familiar with the method. So that's what we're doing at the moment. So the ways that the emergency pill will work is by delaying ovulation, but they can also make the cervical mucus a bit thicker or make the womb lining less friendly to implantation. So please use it as soon as possible after sex, even after ovulation, because I know that I said its primary method is to delay ovulation. In some cases, it could make the mucus thicker, so the sperm can travel easily to meet the egg and fertilize, or make the womb lining a bit thicker so that it's harder if the egg is fertilized, it's harder for it to implant. So those are some of the ways that it could work. So it is worth taking it if you got to that point past ovulation. Okay, ideally they work best after ovulation, but still worth taking after ovulation. And then the next thing she says, which one should I use? The answer to that is any method you can get hold of at the time. Please pick it. Okay, but we can talk about which ones are most effective. So of course, if you've got a variety of methods and you're looking for the best, go for it. And in terms of emergency birth control, the copper coil or the copper IUD, which is why I've got that picture of the copper coil. Let me go back to I think I need to pull myself away from the picture now, and I'll just remove the question just temporarily so you can see the copper coil over there. That is the most effective method if you've got a range of different options and you're sort of looking at, right, which one is the most effective. So the copper coil, and it can be taken up to 5 days after that episode of unprotected sex, or 5 days after you've ovulated. So whichever of these scenarios you find yourself in, if you find that, okay, I've had sex and I've ovulated, and and you're coming up to which method can I use, you can use the copper coil. In that method, it's the most effective as long as it is still within a 5-day window. Okay, quickly, number 2 is the Ella pill, the Ella birth control pill. It's a human-made progesterone, sort of like emergency birth control method, which is the next best option if you can get it. Studies show that it will still work effectively very early on, even after the hormones that cause ovulation have peaked. They've peaked, but the egg hasn't yet been released. It will still work even after that sort of that little gap between when the hormones peak and when the egg is released. It will still work. So, and you also have up to 5 days with this particular method. Now, I do talk about it more on my channel, so please check out the Smart Birth Control playlist. I talk all about Ella and how it's used and its advantages and so on. And then the third method, and I'm sort of putting them in order of effectiveness, since we're talking about which one can we use, but whichever you've got, please use it. So the next one, the third one, is called the levonorgestrel containing pill. Levonorgestrel is a type of progesterone, and it's commonly known as Postino, whether it's Postino 1 or 2 or Levanel, Take Action Plan B, whichever. There's so many different methods, or brands, I beg your pardon, brands available. So whichever one, if you check the back of the packet and it mentions levonorgestrel, this is what I'm talking about. Now, that's also effective when it's used as soon as possible after sex, and this one you have up to 72 hours. Now, that's when it's still effective. The effectiveness reduces from day 1, day 2, day 3. After day 3, we cannot guarantee it's going to do anything, but it is most effective on day 1, less effective day 2, which is why we say please use it as soon as possible. Okay, waiting reduces its chance of working. But unlike Ella, its effect on ovulation delay begins earlier. So it's Ella has the advantage over this levonorgestrel Postino 1 or 2 methods, because Ella would still work after those hormones have peaked. As soon as the hormones peaked, levonorgestrel is not going to delay ovulation. So Ella has that advantage. The fourth method, which is not so commonly used, but in the UK, for example, can't get my words out now, where I'm currently practicing, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, it's not so commonly used, but it's also, this method is used in different parts of the world. And I'm referring to the emergency method, which contains a combination of the hormones estrogen and progesterone. So that method is also available. Okay, so we've tackled the second question. Let me just go back and put it up on the screen so that if you're just joining us, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about unprotected sex. A lady popped in this question to the channel. She said she ovulated the day before. Should she take the morning after pills right away? And we've said yes, take it right away as soon as possible. And then she says, which one should I go for? We've just finished talking about the ones that are available, and go for the one that you have to hand. But if you have if you have options, then go for the copper coil, followed by Ella, followed by levonorgestrel. And then if you have the combination ones in your part of the world, you can use those as well. Now, the next question she is referring to here is, how many days should I take it? So for questions about how to take the pill, how many days and so on, please follow the dosing instruction on the packet. Please open the packet. The information leaflet is gold, is valuable. Look at it, read it. It tells you how to use it, tells you what to expect, any side effects and so on. So please read it. But for the sake of this question, generally, these are single-use pills. The Postino one is just one pill. Take Action, just one pill. Plan B, take just one pill. There's some like the Postino 2, where they come as 2 doses, right? And you're required to take the first dose as soon as possible. And then the second dose comes up about 12 hours after taking the first dose. And so it depends on the type that we're talking about. So follow the instructions. Generally, you just take them as a one-off. You don't do a 3-day or 4-day or take them for 1 week kind of thing. And the only exceptions to that, maybe if you're taking the combination ones, which again, I said, I'm not sort of talking too much about that. It is used in some parts of the world, but not commonly in places like the UK or in Nigeria. You generally have the single-use methods like Postino 1, take action, or Postino 2, where you have to split the dose and take 1 tablet at so and so time, and then the next one after 12 hours. Okay, so this is what to do. These are the steps if you need to take the pill. I wanted to break this down. And the final step, if you need to take the pill, okay, the final step if you need to take the pill is go and have a look at, I'm going to bring it up for you so that you can see. Is it that one? Hang on, just hang on a second. I'm just trying to share my screen with you guys. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, I think I've got it now, so give me a second. So yeah. So yes, this is the last option. Get rid of this banner. Yeah, here we go. So this is the last option, friends. This is what I'd love you to do as well. Okay, I want you to come to Askawayhealth. Okay, and I want you to have a look at the smart birth control playlist. That's what I want you to do, because I've got over 39 videos. I don't think you have any other channel on YouTube that dedicates so many videos, and I'm constantly uploading and updating them. So I'm aiming for over 100. I'm sure by the time I was thinking of what else I'm going to publish on the channel, but seriously, I've got loads and loads of content on birth control, different methods, from both the emergency methods, your regular methods, issues around using birth control methods. For example, why did the pill fail? What to expect? The pull-out method. Here's the Ella one I just referred to. It's that one here. This is all on this playlist. So just head over to the site, check out this this particular playlist called Smart Birth Control Playlist. It is full of gold. And like I said, if you've got any questions and you wanted to clarify anything, please shout out to me. Brilliant. So we are done with that topic. If you have any questions, let me know. We're going to go quickly to the next one. And I'm going to share the screen because I think I've also got, no, not that one. Let's see. I'm just going to try and pull up the question so that we can read it at the same time. So give me a second. There we go. I'm just opening the files. I think it's this one. Okay, so let's share the screen and hopefully let me make this bigger. So hopefully you should see this with me. Let's see. If it's not opening up, then I'm just going to have going on here. You would believe that I actually tested this before we went live and it worked. So I don't know why I'm not, but I would love to get it working. So let me try again. Oh, it is working here. So why isn't it showing? Oh, here we go. Good. Okay, so yeah. So this is the question that we're dealing with. Let's make it a bit bigger so that we can read it on the screen. So this is the meat of the matter. This is the meat of the matter. And this is what we're going to be talking about because we're interested in issues around the laxative or slimming tea. And again, this was a question I wanted to bring this up so that you can see. This is what I mean when I said I get people sending in these questions, and I'm really interested in providing us the information that will be very helpful to us. So this is the question that we're going to be dealing with today. So this is somebody who's written to say, I take contraceptive pills every night and I drink BioFit tea every night, which is laxative tea. Is it okay to take laxative tea and pills at the same time? So that's the question. So if you're in that category, if this is something that you're interested in, just close this. If this is something that you're interested in, this part of the video, this section of the video, I think you really might want to contribute. You might want to tell us your own experience. Yeah, I've put that up. I've taken off the picture. I've put that up. So let's go into this. Let's look at this. Okay, so it's not a simple, straightforward question, because what we're looking at is whether your slimming tea or laxative tea or your detox tea could be cancelling out your birth control pill. That's the key question, because you're assuming, oh, I'm on the pill, I'm okay, and then you start taking the slimming tea, and then is it effective? Does your birth control pill remain effective? And please, we're talking particularly about the birth control pill. Okay, I want to be very specific, not all different methods, and I'm going to explain towards the end what I mean. But this is in reference to taking a slimming tea or laxative tea or detox tea while on the birth control pill. So the birth control pill method contains estrogen and progesterone, or progesterone only, as a method. So it usually works. Let's just quickly go through that. It usually works by delaying ovulation, and it can also affect the cervical mucus. We've just talked a little bit about that, and making the mucus thicker, or it could work by making the lining of the womb thicker, so that it's not practical, or if a fertilized egg tries to plant in it, it can't plant in it effectively. So that pregnancy will not take, if you like. So these three methods are the ways that the pills will generally work. And this method or this activity can be interrupted by so many different things. One of them is if you don't take your pill properly. If you only take your pill just when you remember, or just, if it's ad hoc, then you're not going to get the level of hormone in your blood that will allow it to do this job effectively. Those three particular jobs I've described effectively. But something else that can affect how well the pill works is interaction with other drugs that you might be taking. So possibly, not all drugs do this, but some can. And this is what I want us to look at. And I'm going to talk about two ways in which it could happen. One of them is the effect of the drug that you're taking. So we're talking about two different drugs now. You're taking your pill, and then you're taking another drug, for example, slimming tea. And why am I referring to the slimming tea as a drug? Because a lot of them contain there are supplements that contain a mixture of different things. They might be certain pharmaceutical medicines or drugs that we know, or there might be herbal constituents within the particular medicine. So that's why I refer to them as drug, because they do contain something that has medicinal effect, even though they are marketed as teas, right? So some of these products, these drugs, these teas may contain elements or chemicals that can instigate or prompt your body to make enzymes which can affect the hormones in the pill. It can affect the hormones in the pill because when you take the pill, it's going to go through a process of metabolization before it becomes of use to your body in the ways that we've mentioned earlier. So common examples of the drugs that do this, that is, the drugs that when you take them and you're on the pill as well, those drugs could affect the pill by producing these enzymes that can clear the pill out of your body. Common examples are things like drugs, some drugs used to treat epilepsy, okay? Some antibiotics and antifungal drugs, so drugs used to treat bacterial infections, fungal infections. Some herbal supplements like St. John's wort, which you might be familiar with, which some people use to treat some types of depression, and some types of HIV treatment. These are just a few examples, okay? And this is why one of the things that you're told, or you should be told when you first start taking or using the pill, is if you're going to start some other medication or you're going to take some other medicine, speak to your doctor or pharmacist to be sure they're not going to interact and one cancel out the other or reduce the effectiveness of the other working or make the other one more toxic, get to more toxic levels, that is excessive levels in your blood, and cause problems. So that's why it's important to have that discussion. Now, that said, when we're talking particularly about these slimming teas, laxatives, you know that they all contain different things. So it's important, if you're listening to this or watching this later on, it's important that you're looking at specific brands and what they contain. I'm going to be just talking about BioFit tea because this is what was referred to in our question today. So I'm going to be looking at BioFit tea. Now, many of the laxatives are not generally known to interact with birth control. Not generally known. That is, they don't contain things that may bring out enzymes to clear the pill. Many of them, as far as we know. However, some do. So you need to be very careful. You can't just assume that one rule matches all for all of these different slimming or laxative teas and so on. Okay. We don't know the different components of many of these supplements. We don't know if they can affect the hormones, progesterone and estrogen that are in your pill. But if they can interfere with them, then they can make the pill less effective. Okay. The second way that drugs like this, or taking another drug while you're on the pill, could affect your pill is the effect of the drug itself, a byproduct of the effect of the drug. I know that sounds a bit strange, but just bear with me. I'm going to explain this, okay? Now, let's look at BioFit tea. I'm not promoting BioFit tea. I'm not. I've just picked it up because it's an example that was provided to us. So let me just bring up BioFit tea and what is in it, and share with us so that we can all have a look at it. I'm going to share my screen on that one as well. So hopefully you can see this. This is BioFit tea. What's in it? It contains SENNA. Oh, I better just double check you can actually see this. Oh, goodness, you can't. Let me make sure you can see it. Bear with me. So let me share my screen. Right, so let's go to the right window. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. There she was saying, so I was about to launch into it and I was thinking, can everybody see it? Okay, so hopefully you can now see what I'm showing up now. So this is just a screenshot looking at the contents of BioFit tea. Contains SENNA, which you might have heard of. It's quite common, quite popular, used as a laxative. So that means if you take it, it helps to improve your bowel movement, basically, and you can go to the toilet. If you are constipated, then you can use SENNA. It's a type of stimulant laxative, and what that is, or what that means is, its effect on the lining of your bowel, it irritates it. I think is the best way to describe what it does. It sort of stimulates or irritates it so that the bowel muscles start cramping and relaxing more quickly. And then that goes towards helping you move your bowel more faster or more frequently. And you could also end up with loose stools, with diarrhea as well because of that, because of the process. It also contains different probiotics, so Bacillus subtilis, Lactobacillus rhamnosus, Lactobacillus plantarum, Lactobacillus acidophilus, and there's that one at the bottom. Sorry. So there's that one, Bifidobacterium longum. So these are just stuff within the BioFit tea, and I just wanted us to sort of have a look at that and be familiar with what is inside. So it's a supplement. It contains a mixture of SENNA and these other probiotics. And I've just said SENNA is a stimulant laxative. So this is what it does. Essentially, is that you're going to go more often. You might end up going more often to the toilet. It clears out your bowel and helps empty out your bowel. And sometimes you might have loose motions or diarrhea. So the implication of this is that anything in your tummy, whether it's food, whether it's drugs or whatever, can quickly pass through your bowel out to be discarded as poop. And all that could happen, particularly for drugs, before your body can actually pull back the essential bits of the medicine and absorb it into your blood so that it does its job. And this is, imagine if that happened to your birth control pill. Okay, so this is, when I was talking about the second way in which a drug that you're taking with the pill can affect it is by the effect of the drug itself. The effect of this drug is to cause frequent stool bowel movements, and it may lead to loose stools. By this effect, you could lose the pill alongside because it quickly moves stuff through the bowel and the pill could get caught up in this. Okay, so we have seen one way that this could happen with BioFit tea. SENNA has also been shown in some studies to reduce the amount of estrogen available in your body. Remember I said with laxatives, generally they don't interact, but we don't know what's in all of them. Some of them can interact. Well, actually SENNA can. And let me just see if I can pull up my next slide to show you where I got this information from. And I will put the links in the description box as well. To the studies. No, not that one. I'll put the link in the description box to the studies. Oh, I actually thought I had the study up. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen again so that you can have a look at this with me. And by the way, if you're joining, I haven't had a chance to just pop into comments and say hello to everybody. But if you're joining, hi, thank you so much for joining. I hope this is useful. Please let me know if you're finding this information useful. Tell me in the comments. Of course, you can ask questions. Let me make this bigger so that you can. I'll make this bigger. And it's actually the bottom bit. So this is from, where is it? This is from WebMD. Okay, this is just talking about SENNA, its uses and side effects and so on. And this is the bit on interactions. If you want to have a look, and I will place the link in the description box. But if you go all the way to the bottom, you find that estrogens, you find that estrogens interact with SENNA. So some studies suggest, okay, and this is just to be aware of and to have a caution about this, but it's important because if you're relying on your birth control method, the pill, and you're taking something containing SENNA alongside it, you must really be aware that it could potentially reduce the effectiveness of your pill, and so you end up falling pregnant as a result. So this is telling us that some studies suggest that SENNA may reduce the effectiveness of estrogen. Okay, so it might reduce the amount of estrogen that your body absorbs, and that's something that's useful for us to be aware of as we're talking about SENNA. So let me stop sharing that. Okay, so let's go on. So what are we saying in essence? We're saying that some laxatives, like those that contain SENNA, can affect your birth control pill. Okay. If it is because of frequent stools or diarrhea, for example, and this happens within 4 hours of taking the pill, your body may not get the effective dose of the pill that you need to protect you. And by the way, this is the same thing that happens with vomiting, because remember, one of the things that we also say to you when you start taking the pill, and we're telling you the sort of pill rules and what to do if you miss a pill and so on. We also mention if you develop a tummy bug, for example, you've been out to somewhere, and picked up a bug and you've been vomiting and having diarrhea. Essentially, if you've taken the pill and it's about 2 to 4 hours and you've thrown up in that period, you can assume that that pill has not really been absorbed by your body. And if it was just a one-off, we would advise you to repeat the pill. But if you carry on having vomiting or diarrhea for another 48 hours, if you're still able to have sex, if you still feel well enough to do it, then you should really be thinking of another method to protect you, like condoms or something else. Okay, so that's an issue with taking the SENNA or something, slimming tea, laxative tea, detox tea that contains SENNA. And the other is, as we've already mentioned, the possibility that it could interact with the hormones. Okay, so even if you take your laxative and okay, you're saying, well, it doesn't cause me to have diarrhea, I don't get frequent stools, or okay, I take it like 12 hours apart and so on. The second thing is that SENNA could interact with estrogen. So now that we've sort of broken that down, and I think we've fairly reasonably answered the question, which let me bring it up again. The question is, I take contraceptive pills every night and I drink BioFit tea every night. That's laxative tea. Is it okay to take laxative tea and pills at the same time? So it depends. This is why I said to you at the beginning that I can't just tell you yes or no. And the reason is because it all depends. Because one, if she's taking the pill at sort of 12 hours apart, so she has the pill at night and she has her BioFit pill in the mornings, or the other way around, you could argue that, well, it's not going to affect the taking of the pill. Okay, but you have to add in the other thing I've just talked about, which is the interaction between SENNA itself as a drug, as a medicine, or something that could go in and affect the way that estrogen is broken down in the body, so it could affect it. So I would love to get a lot more information about people before I sort of give yes or no answers. My answer will to this will be tending towards no, it's not okay because of these issues. But I'd love to hear what else is happening in the background. And just to round up, if you are in this situation and you're sort of wondering, am I safe or not? Because the safety and the costly prank about this is that you think, I'm good, I'm sorted, I'm protected, I don't miss my pill, I take it at the same time every day, I don't miss it, so I shouldn't fall pregnant. The costly prank is that if you're taking it with something else that could affect the way the pill is cleared out of your system, then you could fall pregnant. And not because you weren't doing the right thing, but simply because of the interaction or the behavior of the drug. So if this is you and you want to continue with the laxative, you might benefit from an alternative method like the coil, okay, or the implant or injection methods, which are processed differently. They're not going to go through the same type of metabolism inside the gut that happens with the pill. And that's why I emphasize at the beginning of this section that this is talking about slimming teas or laxative teas or detox teas vis-a-vis the birth control pill. So other methods could work, will work actually, because they're not affected by the laxative. I wonder if it's worthwhile sharing it here, just in case anybody is curious. Let me see. It's another one of my slides. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. And it just gives you basic advice really about not that one. It gives you basic advice about vomiting. And that's why I said about, really reading your information leaflet that comes with your, there's that one. So let's share it and see. And it's that one that comes with your pill packet. So when you get it, please don't just sort of put it to the corner. This is from a formulary or this is from the electronic medicines compendium. It's a nice big formulary of different medication. But this is the patient information product. The product information that's for non-healthcare professionals. So this it's in very simple, easy language. It's specifically referencing a tablet called microgynon, which is a combined pill, contains both estrogen and progesterone. But you can see what it tells you about if you are sick or have diarrhea. It tells you about your body not getting its usual dose and taking an extra pill if it happens, and what to do if you carry on having vomiting and diarrhea beyond 12 to 24 hours. So it's really, I just wanted to put this up here to emphasize why it's so important, really important for you to make sure that you're looking at your leaflets. Okay, so I've come to the end of, I think we've answered this question quite well. And I don't know if the lady who posted the question, if she's going to come across this video. If she does, I hope she does, and she goes through the information that we've shared. I did respond to her, and it was a brief response because that's really all you can do on YouTube, but I did provide a response. But this is a lot more detailed and explains what is going on and what options that you have. So this is where I'm going to draw the curtains today, guys. Thank you so much for joining, because I've seen a couple of people popping into the stream, and it would be lovely to say hi to you, know where you're listening from or watching from. But thank you for joining. Let me know, and I hope that you got value from this. Let me know if you did in the comment section. I'm going to put the links to all the different resources I've mentioned in the description box. Once I finish this video, tidy it up a little bit and just put a bit of editing on it. I'll put the description, so for anybody who's watching the replay, you'll be able to go and check this information out yourself. But the key thing is about using your method safely. So guys, I hope this has been useful, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Hi there, Nala, it's great to hear from you. So Nala says, thank you for sharing. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you so much for joining and for watching, and everyone else, have a great weekend. Friday live class comes back again next week, and it may be your question. So if there's something on your mind, if it's something that you're interested in asking, if it's something you want to clarify, please share it with me. something more specific, like I said, I will pull you towards our email information service, because that allows us to ask more questions and make sure you're getting the right information for you. So thank you so much, guys, again, for my 8,000 subscribers. I appreciate you all, and I really hope that we're going to get as much value as possible from the channel. I'm going to continue doing this as long as possible, so keep watching, guys. Okay, have a great time. I will see you again next week. Bye bye. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nala. Thank you. I will have a great weekend. Take care. Bye bye.